Hey everyone, welcome to our Leader Seeds podcast today. My name is Jordan. I'll be your host here. Today's question as we kick off this episode is, when was the last time you celebrated someone? Or we can even think of it like this. When was the last time someone celebrated you? See, there's two perspectives on that, and both are powerful. In today's episode, we're going to talk about a specific season that might not be as popular as the rest, but is utmost crucial to great leadership. So with that being said, let's take a quick music introduction before we get today's episode started. All right, so I'm back right after that quick music intro. It's a short intro because we are in a series called 10 and 10 Blast, where we're kicking out 10 power-packed episodes with high impact and healthy leadership principles in 10-minute sections. So we only got 10 minutes in this episode today. So if this is the first time that you're listening in, I'd like to welcome you. Thank you for pushing that play button and really invite you to spend the next 10 minutes with us, because these series are geared really to give everyone kind of a quick experience with the podcast and what we talk about here and what we truly believe in. And we want to share that in 10-minute sections. We do have another season coming up right after this with some amazing interviews. So I want to encourage you, as you listen in today, as you expect to find something great, and as soon as you do, push that subscribe button and stay connected with us. Let's jump into today. So the question I asked for today was, what was the last time that you celebrated someone? Now, when you push that play button, you've probably seen the title, and the title said, Seasons Over Strategies. This is the season of rejoice, or we say the season to rejoice. And this season might be, like, maybe out of the 4 seasons, the most unpopular season. You know, I think most times, and I'll leave it as, I think sometimes we leave it more to chance this season, and we don't make a choice to make sure that this season is part of a healthy structure in our leadership. And I'll tell you a little bit story about how I learned this. And I learned this because I worked for a company one time, a large corporation, and this company was part of the list that made the best places to work list. We've all seen that, right? You've seen these lists that kind of gets generated. They do a quick assessment and they do all these checkpoints on companies and on leadership. And this company made this list over and over again. So it wasn't a one-time shot. Over and over again, this company made the list of the best places to work. Now, I'm going to say it wasn't a perfect place. No business is, right? That's why we need leadership, because we want to work on things, right? We want to lead people through imperfect situations. That's what leadership does. So don't think that this company was perfect. It had its flaws, like everyone does. But I learned some really powerful concepts that they did that no one else did. And one of those was they had a team specifically to celebrate the team members. Now, most companies have an orientation. This company didn't have an orientation. They had a celebration. When you get hired, you get invited, like a formal invitation, into a celebration. And I can't explain all the details to give you the perfect experience as you listen into this, but let me tell you this, it blew your socks off. No one expected at the level that they celebrated when you would get started with them. I'd even say the celebration at this company was probably better than I see retirement parties at other companies. That's how much intention they put in it. Now think about that. For retirement, you can dedicate your life, years and years of sacrifice to a company, and then at an orientation, or like this company called it, a celebration, there was more put in on the front end to celebrate their team members. That might seem backwards to most people, but remember, this company made this list of best places to work consistently year after year. So this has to tell you something. Because I know for me, as soon as I walked in those doors, I immediately felt connected. I immediately felt celebrated. But it wasn't me that was celebrated. There was a teaching, an underlying training that was happening in there, teaching us to see what was celebrated. And I'm going to give you some 4 points today. It's going to be four quick bullet points. If you're taking notes, write that down. I'm going to tell you what really stood out there. And I didn't just learn this from observation. As I spent time with the company, as I grew in the company, I ended up having to being honored to actually be invited to be part of that celebration team. So I actually learned how they actually put all of these things together. And let me tell you, it wasn't by chance. It was definitely by choice. They chose specifically to be intentional on how they celebrated every year. Now, let me go ahead and I'm going to give you the 4 points that stood out here. Obviously, there's more details in it, but to stick with our structure today with 10 minutes, we're going to knock out 4 of these concepts today. So I want you to expect to find one thing out of these 4 things. I want you to expect to find one thing, whether you're leading a big corporation, whether you're leading your family at home, whether you're learning to lead yourself for the first time. These 4 points can really benefit your leadership as you continue to improve and grow your high impact and healthy leadership. So if you're ready, say, I'm ready. And I heard you. You said, I'm ready. So awesome. Let's rock and roll. Here we go. Now, the first thing is, number 1 is that this is a specific season, not just milestones. You see, companies that don't make the best places to work list, they let this just happen, like high fives in the hallway and maybe celebration when somebody maybe hits their goal. It's just totally random and it happens. Now, that should happen. That's obvious, right? But this company made it specific season, made a certain time that was scheduled for a season to rejoice, for a season to stop and to just rejoice with its team members. So not just the milestones. We always get the annual thank yous and the birthdays and anniversaries and all the different things that, I hate to say it, but it should be done. It's just kind of a normal thing, right? But if it's expected, then the truth is it's just not special no more. So if you want to make it special, if you're leading your home, if you're leading yourself, if you're leading a team, an entrepreneur, and you're leading a business, you're leading a ministry, those things are expected. So you should be doing that automatically. But if you want to stand out and make it high impact, you want to make a specific season, not just milestones. So what this looks like is maybe it's a week, one consistent week, every single day you're celebrating and you're going out there and you're being intentional with this, right? Not just a random one-off things. It's specific. It can also be done every quarter where you actually take maybe a couple days every quarter, right? But it has to be scheduled. Has to be scheduled. That's the first point. Here's the second point. You want to appreciate everyone, but you want to recognize values. I'll say it again. You want to appreciate everyone, but you want to recognize values. This is why this is a very important bullet point in here. Everyone deserves appreciation. You want to make sure everybody that comes in there, even if they're maybe not doing well, there's something you can appreciate with them. You got to challenge yourself in leadership. You got to challenge the weaknesses of yourself. If you're leading yourself, there's something you can appreciate about that weakness. There's always something. You become a better leader when you can always see something to appreciate. So you want to appreciate everyone, but you want to recognize values. So many times when we're doing this, you see people that they bring people on stage that hit certain marks or goals. But guess what? If they did it in wrong character, or if they didn't have good values that your organization or you believe in, you're teaching everyone else that sees this person getting recognized. You're teaching everyone else to take the shortcuts that person took. You're teaching everyone else that that's how you grow and that's how you get ahead here. Because you're just focusing on the measurements, what you measured or whatever goal that they had, right? So you want to make sure that you're recognizing values. What values are important to you? And when you recognize a person, you recognize the values that they showed to get that recognition. Here's the third point. Number 3, it's be present and be genuine. If you're the leader there, you want to be present. You don't want to be distracted, answering emails. You don't want to be doing other things. You want to be present, right? If you have a family, have your family there with you, man. If you're leading, that way you're not distracted, right? If you're leading your family, be present at home. Be home. Don't be looking at other stuff, be home with your family. Be present, be genuine. Because if not, it just looks like flattery. And flattery is forgotten quick. So if we're trying to celebrate somebody, but we're not present, it's received as just flattery and it's easily forgotten. So we want to make sure that we're present and we're genuine in our leadership. Here's the fourth point. The last point is don't train, promote, or give an agenda at this time. This is such a bad thing. I see that happens every time, and it's like you bring the celebration. There's so much excitement. Everyone's happy to be there, and then it's like, guess what? We have a new training, and everyone's like, oh, that's why you brought us here, and you had the buffet line. Oh, we're promoting a new product or promotion or program, and everyone's like, oh, that's why. So it totally discounts everything that you've done to lift people up and to speak into, even if you was genuine. Even if you genuinely wanted to recognize and celebrate people, as soon as you introduce an agenda or you start training or you start promoting something, it totally devalues everything else that you said. So never, ever at this time when you're going ahead and you're taking this specific season to rejoice, this is not the time to train, promote, or give an agenda. You just celebrate. And guess what? You have a lot of fun doing that too. So if it's your personal leadership, celebrate your steps forward. There's something that we said, write this down. See, success is in the seed. Most times we wait for the harvest or the fruit to celebrate the success, but the success is already in the seed. It's the great leaders that see that in seed form. It's the great leaders that see the success in seed form. That's it for today, guys. Thanks for taking some notes. Thanks for playing all out. I'm out of time for today. Quick recap. This was 4 points for a season to rejoice that came from organizations that make the best places to work, right? We can learn from people that are doing things the right way. If they're making this, something they're doing is right. This is something that stands out that these companies are doing right. This is something we can learn from them. Whether you're leading a ministry, an organization, whether you're leading your home, or whether you're going out there and you're being a rock star and leading your life, leading yourself, that's self-leadership. With that being said, we're going to wrap up today. I invite you to join us on tomorrow's episode as we continue to the series of 10 and 10 Blast. Thank you for listening in. When you found something today of value, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Stay connected with us. I'll give you more ways to stay connected as we in the next episodes. But for today, we're going to close out with another music outro. Have a great day, guys.